know my story, but he was like, D, how did you, whenever you were making that shift, when you were making that transition to earning your woman's trust back, you had made some effed up decisions. How did you overcome that? You know what I'm saying? Because he was having issues with his woman basically embracing his new mentality, his remorse, his regret, and all of that. And basically, she was just bringing stuff up over and over again. All of his past decisions, all of his mistakes, she just kept bringing it up. And he felt like it's impossible. I can't please her. I can't do better. I'm not given a real opportunity. So let me say this for any man, for any man in this situation, your woman keeps bringing up your past. It's not that she's bringing it up. It's that we actually ask women to do something that's damn near impossible. And that's to trust something that we tell them twice. Trust something that they believed in us the first time twice. That's I say impossible, but really that's one of the most difficult things in the world, is to tell a woman that, yeah, you built trust in this version of me, but I broke it. And now I need you to retrust that all over again, despite not only what you've been through, but your current reality in which you're still going through, the triggers and the reminders daily. I need you to now rebuild trust in that despite all of that. And I need you to do it with a smile on your face. Otherwise, you're not really giving me an opportunity. I need you to do that. This is what we ask of women. I need you to retrust me without reminding me of why you shouldn't have had this trust broken in the beginning. I need you to do it by all of these different rules. And dare I say, it's egotistical to tell a woman, I put you in this situation, but navigate it perfectly. Navigate it without making me uncomfortable as I navigate it with you, something that you shouldn't have to navigate to begin with. One of the hardest things in the world for a woman to do a lot of times that we ask women, and I'm not saying it don't go vice versa. I definitely know of women who have done their dirt and then they need grace and forgiveness. They need another chance to make things right. I've seen us as men, though, struggle more with that process of understanding the situation we put a woman in. So let me just kind of paint the picture for you. Whenever we, because I'm not on no pedestal here, right? But whenever we as men, we hurt a woman, we break her trust, we gotta understand what all breaks with that. Her whole reality that she was being loved correctly and is safe in our arms and is dealing with somebody who doesn't want to hurt her, who has dealt with certain things to be disciplined and be mindful and respectful of the relationship, that whole reality just changed. A whole reality is not just her forgiving an action. It's her now like trying to learn how to forgive herself and even believing that we could do that we could hold that down, that we could honor those promises, that commitment, some cases the vows. So you're asking this woman to not only restructure trust in you, but to restructure her entire reality and to make sense of it as new stimuli is coming in. That's another thing that we forget. She keeps bringing things up because new things are coming in. Her receptors have now changed. Before, she may have only saw a threat and something that was blatantly obvious, you know what I mean? Like you clearly are flirting or you clearly texting somebody and your phone is faced, like something like that. But when a woman's trust has been broken, those receptors of what is dangerous completely changes. Now she sees a threat just in a change of voice, just in a change in your pattern. You get up a little earlier, you stay out a little later. Now everything represents danger to her, right? And again, from the outside looking in as men, and we know that we're remorseful, we're regretful, we want to do the right thing, we are doing the right thing now. All we're consumed with is how much we're supported and embraced in that. And we're not really thinking about the torture of her going through what she's going through that's changing every day. Sometimes it's getting worse every day. Don't let her watch a movie. Don't let her actually start trusting you and feel that vulnerability that preceded her getting hurt to begin with. Because she's dealt with guys before that were on some nonsense, but if she didn't love them the way that she loved you, she didn't really get hurt. It was just like, oh, good riddance, get out of my face. I ain't care about you no way. But the vulnerability, the love, the trust, that preceded her getting hurt and now being dealt this whole new card, this whole new hand of cards that she doesn't know how to play. So when as a man, and I put this out there, man, with total empathy, but I'm going to keep it real with you too. In that same way, I had to keep it real with myself in order to understand this and navigate it. Whenever we're looking at a woman and saying, why do you keep bringing stuff up? Why do you keep reminding me of what I once did? It's selfish, narcissistic. because we're only thinking of ourselves. And not only are we thinking of ourselves, by even having that disposition, we're absolving ourselves of the part that we played and putting that woman in that position to begin with. That woman ain't putting you through whatever. She ain't reminding you of stuff voluntarily because she wants to be haunted. Triggers, nightmares, reminders, humiliation, shame, all of these different things she wakes up with every single day. Fear, disgust with you, disgust with herself, jealousy, comparison to other women. What do they have that I don't have? These are the things that they're navigating now. This is their new reality. Now, if you really want to be supportive, first off, of course, the best way to deal with this is to prevent it from happening to begin with. I cannot emphasize that enough. But if it's too little too late on that end and you're after the fact, the best thing you can do is take yourself out of the situation. Hard to do. It requires you to have a ton of endurance. But if you truly love this woman, there has to be a season of selflessness as you come in to what it means to support her. That don't mean that you allow her to abuse you and all of that other kind of stuff. But it absolutely means at no point in her healing journey do you get to make it about you and your comfort or you and what makes sense to you, you and your understanding of how she's going through this. If you must remove yourself, absolutely. But the last thing you need to do is police this woman on the politics and the ways that she needs to manage something she should have never had to deal with to begin with. Every time that she reminds you of something that you once did, let that be a reminder to you going forward of why you should never put a woman in this situation again, her or anybody else. And if you feel like, you know what, it's just too much, the most loving thing you can do is get out of her way. Not bring additional shame to her for not healing fast enough for your comfort. So I'm just going to keep it real with you. Ladies, put I down in the chat if you've ever been with a man who made you embark on a healing journey and then said, you're doing it wrong and you're not a good enough healer. You're not a good enough recoverer from what I broke in you. You're not doing a good enough job healing. Put I down in the chat if anybody can relate to that. Let me say this, men, I know you're not coming from a malicious place. You're not coming from that, but I will say you're probably coming from an unprepared place. You were, one, not prepared to protect her heart to begin with, and then two, you were not prepared in order to walk her down and be an ally in that healing journey for something that you may have done wrong. Now, if it's going on 5 years, 10 years or something like that, I'm not telling you that you're supposed to be a part of this and just letting, this version of her run you into the ground or anything like that. I'm just saying, hopefully this is perspective so you know that you're tripping if you start making her healing journey, her recovery strictly about you. Maybe you need to go separate and get your own healing and counseling, but you're no longer the authority on what it means for that woman to be protected. At least you have to regain that. You're no longer the authority. So if she's dismissing you, if she don't want to hear nothing you got to say about the right way to do stuff, it's because you lost that seat. It's just like at a job. You don't handle your job correctly, what happens? Somebody gonna come and replace you. And in some situations, a woman will replace you with another man. I don't think that's the wisest. But in most situations, whenever you unseat yourself from that position of protection and guidance and mentorship by way of your own wrong decisions where you couldn't guide yourself to honor your commitment, she will unseat you and now become her own authority on how to protect her heart while she's with you. And yes, that does look like her not wanting to hear a thing you got to say when it comes to how she keeps bringing stuff up. That's why she's ignoring you. That's why she's dismissing you. Now, ladies, talking to y'all again, and really men as well, the best way to avoid this is to prevent it from happening altogether. Nobody's perfect, but if a man has truly done his work to evolve and he's still evolving, you have a much better chance of making sure you don't end up in this situation trying to navigate a healing journey, a whole new reality and things like that. And if you keep coming across guys who have not done the work, it's only because you do not have the strategies to attract men who have done the work, like you have done the work. If you've already gone through this before, you don't have to go through it again. And you don't have to stop dating altogether. You just have to know how to make evolved men crave you. And that's something I went in on my free masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolvement Crave You. If you have not gotten access to that masterclass, I put the link right down here in the comments. That link that you see pinned in that comment right there, click the link to get access to that if you want to stop the pattern of dealing with men who have not done the work. And they're always trying to repair after the fact, always trying to police you after the fact. The only way you're going to stop that is to get men who have already come prepared to love and protect you properly out the gate. Not be perfect. And in any situation where he does do anything that remotely bothers you, discomforts you, and it's against what he knows how to take accountability. He knows how not to add to the damage. That's only going to happen with a truly evolved man, not high value, not highly attractive, but an evolved man. Again, that link is pinned right down here in the comments, also in the caption whenever you back out. But moral of the story is this, brothers out there, man, and I say this with love. She continues to bring up the things you did because you're continuing to remind her, either in current day or what you did has not stopped attacking her since the day that you did it or the day that you confessed. At that point when you confessed, that was the beginning of you now being able to be relieved from having to hold this secret from her, but it was the beginning of a whole new hell that she now has to navigate. And you don't get to tell her exactly how to navigate that hell. The only thing you get to do is remember that you should never do this again, and remember how foolish you were to put her in that situation to begin with. And that's just being real, brothers. But I'm just your internet brother trying to help out. If you got anything of value from this conversation, click the share button right now. Bless somebody else on your timeline right now. Click that share button. Share this message if you got anything from it, and only if you got anything from it. And if you're in the market for an evolved man, where you can evolve, you can avoid all of this nonsense, click that link. I went in for free on my masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. That link is right down here, pinned in the comments, right here. Click it, get access before it comes down, and it's also in the caption whenever you back out. Holla at your lady, y'all be good.